A quota is when the government says that only a certain amount of a product can be imported into a country, either by unit value or by numeric pound value. So say we can have £10 million worth of steel imported into this country. Once we've imported £10 million worth of steel, we cannot import any more. So we're going to look and see how a quota will work on the supply and demand and affect customers. So the graph we've got in front of us, we've got supply and demand of a product just in the UK, UK supply, UK demand, and we've got UK price and Q1 here. So that's our equilibrium. So if we looked at cheaper imports coming in, we will see that the import price, because of the comparative advantage, is way below the UK price, which means that it increases the supply and more people, a larger quantity will be supplied in the UK at a much lower price. The effect this will have is UK businesses on our supply line will be happy to supply this much. So our domestic market will have shrunk from the blue line to the yellow line because the price is so much lower and they will not supply to that line anymore. So what's going to happen now is the rest of this will come from imports. So we have a large amount of imports. So the customers are getting a cheaper deal, and however, the domestic industry has shrunk, which isn't always great. So if the government puts a quota on it, it says, after this certain point, we can have no more imports in this category. It puts an artificial stop on this category. So what this means is that we will have reduced our imports to this area here. So the effect of this is that the importer will be less. Now, in lots of ways, this is quite good. However, no one really knows how quotas are distributed. So say, for instance, I was making cars and I wished to purchase steel to make the cars and we had a quota on it. That quota would mean if everyone else had made their cars and had already imported the steel for that quota, then I wouldn't be able to import any steel, which would be a real problem. How would I make my cars? Now, theoretically, it will have pushed up the price to a new level, but the domestic suppliers will not be able to gear up to that because it takes ages to make steel and have new people enter the markets. So quotas can cause a huge amount of problems for businesses because they simply can't get hold of the stuff and it isn't fair. However, it is a very tangible way of saying how much can be imported into a country.